and welcome back to another Build With Me and Build With Me series. So we're back in the house that I'm doing that we called Long Island, and while I'm just sitting here looking at it, I got to thinking I want a little bit of landscaping right over here, which is something I do quite often when I'm building. A lot of times I do leave the game for quite, some time, maybe a day or two, or maybe even a week, and I come back and I think, it needs a little bit more something or another in an area. So then I'll come back and I'll put something in. So I'm just going to fill in a little bit of the dirt here. Just a little, guideline, I guess, that I'm going to kind of sort of follow, but not really. I'm not really going to do a whole lot of following it. So let's see. The flowers that we've been using, just kind of look in, see a little bit of what we've used. Sometimes I'll go ahead and I hit E to go into the eyedropper here. I'm just going to kind of copy. Well, I want to copy this one, this pink one. Pink roses. I think we're going to bring some of them over here. Because we don't want anything too super big, since it's not a big area over here. So just a little something. So put those in. Let's go in. Maybe grab some of the bushes that don't have flowers. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the Alt key, and that allows me to more freely place the plants where I want them. So I want it more centered, and where it was wanting to snap to the grid didn't really look centered to me. So that is why I went ahead and used that. So we're going to go ahead and put that in right there. And I think what we're going to do to try to kind of fill in a little bit, we're going to go into the train paints again, and we're going to come over here to like these flowers, and we're just going to kind of pick something. No, not quite like that. Let's go with maybe yellow, and just kind of fill in, kind of like a ground cover basically is like what we're going to have here. So we're going to put a little bit of that in, and then we're going to move this bar, the brush softness, all the way to this one on the right, and that's going to just put a little bit of dirt. It's not going to fill it in quite as much. So as you can see, you can start to see a little bit of the dark, the dirt kind of poking through, but that's kind of what we want, because even though it's a ground cover, you're still going to see some of the dirt coming through. So went ahead and did that. Let's go ahead and go back into the flowers and just see if there's something else I might want to add. I don't really use the ferns too often because those really don't handle like cold weather very well, so I don't use them. No, that'll be too big. I think we'll just go ahead and leave that there. I mean, that don't look too bad, I guess. I don't do a lot with landscaping, so I don't know. That looks okay. So, alright. So, usually what I do when I do the next thing that I do in my decorating is a lot of times I do the kitchen first. I don't know why I do the kitchen first. I just always have something about, I don't know, the kitchen's kind of set up, it seems like, the rest of my house. So by the looks of it, looks like I was going to probably plan on the kitchen here is kind of what it looks like. It looked like I was probably going to be doing like a half or a quarter bath, looks like probably right there. So go into the buy mode here. And then we are going to go in. I usually go by function. For me, that's easier to find, because in sort by room, I have a hard time trying to figure out if I want accessories or something, where to go to find it. I don't know. I just find it easier if I want accessories. I have it right here. All my accessories are right there. So surfaces, we're going to go ahead and go to the not cabinets. We want just the regular counters. And I tend to go to these modern cowboy counters. Tend to be my go-to counters because they don't have a backsplash on them, and I like to add my own. A lot of times I like to add my own backsplash, so that's kind of why I always seem to go with these. Now I don't always, sometimes I pick these just because I like the more country style it looks. Let's see what else are there. That's kind of about all I usually pick, honestly. I mean, I have a lot of store content ones, but I don't always use them just because, not everybody has those items, but I do use them occasionally. But again, in this house, I'm just going to use the modern cowboy counters. I'm just going to go ahead. Usually what I do is I just kind of put in the counters to start with. And once I see what the counters look like, I will then usually go in, and for some reason, That, why is it doing that? That is so glitching out. Oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever seen this happen. What is wrong with this? Oh my gosh, it just keeps disappearing. I don't... No, it's not even there. What? They're disappearing. Look at that. They're disappearing whenever it turns into the L shape. Why? I don't think I've ever had that happen before. Well. Okay. So that is new to me. I've never had that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, let's see. Go ahead and put that in there. And usually when I put in the counters, I can kind of see then where I want my appliances. So usually I go ahead and pick, where is it at? I can't always find it. This one right here. I like this one. Something about this one I like. I always use this one. Oh my gosh, it's still glitching out. I don't have, as far as I know, I don't have anything there to cause it to glitch. What if I just stick that right there and get ourselves another one? It did it again. It did it again. Where's the one I bought? I just put a new one in. Alright. Now, well, it's almost like it doesn't want... This, I don't know what's going on. This is completely new to me. I've never had this. I was going to try to, you know, do something like that. Maybe if we... Now all I'm doing is hitting Alt. You know what I just noticed? I have apparently a whole bunch of cheats on, and I didn't put no cheats on when I started the game. For some reason, all the cheats are on. I wonder why. Let's go with move objects off and just see. Oh no, it's still... Well, that is odd, because like I said, I did not... I have like tons of counters right there. I did not put any cheats on. So let's go ahead. There's another one that I use a lot of times. It's disable snapping to... Or, oh no, I can't think of what that's called. It's like put me on the spot here. I can't think what it's called. Let's go in, see if it tells me. If you type in help, it'll give a lot of them. But I don't know. Disable snapping to slots on Alt. There we go. So disable snapping to slots on Alt. I'm going to turn it off because I feel like that's on as well. I didn't put these on. So let's put move objects back on. Something. I think there's something glitching out. I might have to reload the lot. Yeah, I don't get it. Hold on, you guys. I'm gonna reload this lot. Okay, so I reloaded the lot. I went ahead and I like put a counter there, and it seems to be working now. Let's try the refrigerator. Yeah, so I don't know exactly what happened. I have no idea, but it seems to be working now. So I don't really know. I don't understand quite really what happened. So anyway, so we're going to put the refrigerator there. I think I'm going to put the stove over here. Like I said, a lot of times just putting the counters in for me lets me kind of see a little bit more on how it looks, and I'm able to like figure out where I want appliances and stuff like that. And I always pick this one because again, it doesn't have this back. I don't know, something about the back on the stove I don't want. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a sink. As very common to have a sink nowadays, to have it facing either the living room or the dining room. That way when people are entertaining and washing their dishes, they can still, they can face their company and still talk to them and everything. So then I usually go in. Sometimes I do upper cabinets and sometimes I don't. Now the thing with upper cabinets with me that I don't like is if you were to pick, for example, like maybe the matching, which do they have that? Actually, I don't think this counter has a matching, but if you pick one of these, look how big they are. I mean, they're as wide as the counter. Now that is not realistic. Upper cabinets are not as deep as the counter is because you'd hit your head. But these one, for some reason, these country fried overhead cabinets, imagine the cheap ones, they are not. Look at that. Look at that size difference. Here, I'll move one over. And I'll put a new one in. One of these. Look at the depth. Look at that. So that's why, if you're ever wondering why do I always use the upper cabinets, the same ones all the time, that's why. But I like to add this little decorative one in just because it changes it up a little bit. Now you can get some of the store content ones like these. And these also, what's nice about some of these, oh my goodness, I can't even, there we go, is that they are also not as wide. So if you have store content ones, you can sometimes get them, like even this one is, that one is pretty wide, ain't it? Or deep. Let's try, what's this one look like? Yep, see, look how deep that is. That's just huge. Huge, you guys. That's why I never use them. Even those ones, I mean, they're huge and gigantic. So anyway, that's why I always use these upper cabinets, if you're wondering. And then I like to put like the pots and pan one. Little thing right there above. Now I think the way it positions itself is, I think it sticks way too out. Kind of like the big cabinets. But if you take it and you flip it around. Okay. Let's move that. It's wanting to snap to the, there we go. And flip it around, it will be, see that? And now it's in line with these instead of being all the way out here. You see kind of the difference that it is? It sticks out a little farther, but if you flip it around to where it's facing the other way, I mean, the pots and pans really don't look any different. It's not really a big deal. And then you can, then it is in line with your cabinets up there. And I think that looks a lot better. It's not like sticking out in your face and being a major pain. So now another thing I'll do is, let's go ahead and grab one of these. And sometimes it just depends. And you put another cabinet. Well, apparently that one is going to be the same. So you can kind of do that. Now you don't want to merge one of these into the refrigerator because then the fridge doesn't work. But something you can do to try to help, make it look like your refrigerator is cluttered, and I do this all of the time. Not in every refrigerator, but just about every single one. You can like merge, shelves and stuff. So usually what I do is I do the short wall. Now you gotta remember I do have that cheat on. So don't forget that I do have the move objects cheat on. I always build with that. So if you're ever wondering how did I do something, well, that's probably because I got that cheat on. So I like to use stuff that looks like it should go in the kitchen. Now I do use this flour sack a lot. This is from the Delicious I can't even think what it's called. It's that bakery, the store bakery set. So I do use that quite often. If you don't care that you don't, if you don't have that and you don't care that you don't have the flour sack, that's fine. That's sometimes it's the only thing I use is just a flour sack. And I don't think you can buy that in the store on its own. You have to get the bakery in order to get that. So something else I'll usually put up there. Sometimes I'll put like knickknacks of some sort. You could always put like a bottle of bunnies or whatever that said. What did it say? Yes, bottled oddity bunnies. You could put that up there. That comes with the supernatural. Sometimes I'll just put like a candle up there. That works too. Unfortunately, like your dog food, or pet bedding or whatever, you can't put that on a shelf. I don't know why. It's got to go on the floor. I mean, it goes on a counter. But why would you want pet bedding on a counter? That's dumb. So I never use that because you can't. And then sometimes I like to put this coffee cup up there, and then you just kind of put it over. So now as you can see, it's not quite tall enough, but if you hit Alt, so hold Alt down, hold your left mouse button down. Now don't release either of these, keep them held down, and then move your cursor up and down. Now you can raise and lower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly put this in place to where you cannot see the shelf. So right there. There we go. And now it looks like all that stuff is sitting on top of the refrigerator when really it's on the shelf. It does not affect your Sims getting in it. It's not in the way. So that's kind of what I do with that. So now a lot of times what I'll do is I'll put in a light. Let's go with ceiling light. So I try to kind of look, I go above just a little bit so I can see exactly where I'm placing everything. I like everything to be in a certain area. It kind of depends on what style I'm currently doing. Sometimes I'll put these because I have a bar area, or like, you know, in that this area here. But I'm not going to do that this time. I do like the hanging light. The swinging hanging light, that looks, I like that one. So a lot of times I'll use that one. It's not super the brightest, but you can brighten things up more if you want. So something else I will also do is we kind of have to put a bunch of them in to start with. So you're going to go to your wall lamps and you're going to pick out the fluorescent tube, and we're going to basically do under counter lighting. So I'm just going to put a few of them in. So I have them to start with because it's harder to work with these if you're already in the level. So we're just going to go ahead and put them in. So there we go. So we have a few of them. Now what we're going to do, we're going to do the same thing we did with that shelf. We're going to grab one, take it all the way back, hold Alt, left mouse key at the same time, and we're going to drag it down. So I'm just going to kind of move it over that way. They're all down below where I want them. And then we will eventually put ourselves in front of it so we can see exactly where we have them. So I'm just kind of moving them around. So let's go ahead, while we're at it, go ahead and put this one in too. On a corner, you want two of them because then the lighting doesn't look quite right. So there you go. Alright, so now what we're going to do, I will change the cabinet counter coloring and stuff too. I do kind of bounce around what I do. Sometimes I have the coloring already done and sometimes I don't. So we're going to just kind of move our cursor or our view to where we can directly see it. Now to move up and down like I just did, like right here, to go like this, I am holding down the mouse wheel, that wheel, scroll wheel that you have on your mouse. I'm holding it down and that's allowing me to move my view the way I am. So now I'm going to do the same thing I already did. Hit my left mouse button and the Alt key at the same time, and I'm going to now place them more so where I want. So I want to go a little bit more to where I can actually see. I like to go right where I can see that counter. Now or that cabinet. I don't like them to be super visible because technically this isn't really what you would use for under counter lights. I just want the illusion. So I'm going to merge them up to about right there. So that's approximately where I'm going to put them. I merge them behind just a little bit. So we're just going to go ahead and put this one in. There we go. So let's move over a little bit more so we can see this one. We're going to grab this one and we're going to do the same thing, just a little bit. Now if you're worried that your mouse, your hand is going to move just a little bit and it's going to change its location before you let up a button, let up your Alt first. And then you should be okay. So I always let up my Alt first. So there we go, there's those. So then when you're playing, you know, if you were to come down a little bit in view, you're not necessarily going to see them lights, but you'll have the glow on the counter of having under counter lights. Because realistically, you don't actually see your under counter lights. So... and that's kind of what I want to have. It's just the illusion of having them, but I don't want them visible. So there we go. Now we're going to move this one to the same as that one. There we go. Whoops. Alright, so now we have under counter lighting, which will help with that. Now I want to pick out my wood color that I'm going to do. Now I'll probably do white countertop or counters or cabinets because I don't know, I've just been in the mood for white lately. So I'm just going to go ahead and let's see, I clicked, I believe I hit E. No, I hit R. I didn't even pay any attention. Okay, let's back out of this. So it's R right here. If you were to hover over it, create a style, R, that'll give you this, and I just click on my counter here. So I'm just going to go to this one. Now I have to wait for everything to load. As you can see, it's loading right over here, and then you go to miscellaneous. I have this saved. This is not custom content. I just got real tired of picking one and then going in and changing the color number. The color number for all white, as you can see, is, I believe it's 6 Fs, and the color number for all black, I believe, is 6 zeros. So, and I just went in and I took them, and then once I created it, you have this option right here to hit save. That's all I did. So these are not custom content colors. I just got tired of changing the color number all the time. So I went ahead and did that. So let's go ahead and do a top counter. What do we want to go with? A lot of times I just choose, because these are just different textures, you can always change your color if you don't like, you know, the coloring of it. So maybe let's try this one. Let's see what this looks like. They don't always look good like that. Don't even really look good. Yeah. Sometimes I experiment because you never know. Sometimes changing the color, it won't look all that awful bad. Yeah, that just looks like scales, like a lizard scale. We're not going to go with that. You could probably go with that. I like to darken it a little bit because it helps remove some of the glare. I believe there's mods out there that you can use that will take care of the glare, but not everybody has mods. So I like to change the color, or, you know, try to remove some of the glare if I can without using the mod. That way I know anybody who downloads my lot will have, you know, no glare on their counters. So, or whatever, you know, the table, whatever may have had a glare. So that's why I do that, just in case a person doesn't have any mods. So we're just going to go ahead, because I'm lazy, and I'm just going to go ahead and recolor this. Now that looks a little funny, but that's just because I don't want to exit out of create a style and go back in when all I have to do is that. And then I can recolor all these, because like I said, I can be a little lazy. So let's go ahead and change that while we're at it. There we go. Move these over. There we go. Awesome. So that's all done. Now I did notice I hadn't put any walls up. So believe it or not, usually I do that first, because then I base my flooring and my countertop off of my floor or my wall color. So let's go ahead. Now you could use tile if you want and just kind of throw something back. But my thing is you don't have any upper crown molding. And I like to have crown molding. I really love crown molding. So a little trick that I do, now you can't use every texture. It doesn't always work for every texture, but the basic tile, if you're just looking for a basic tile, I go into this paneling and I pick this one here. Okay, and I put this one back. Now you're going to see why I choose this one. I don't know why it does that. So we're going to go ahead and refresh that. Now that looks like I have paneling back there, which that's okay, because that is kind of what I chose. But if we go to the recoloring here, like I said, not all of the textures are going to look right. Go to this middle one here, And then we're going to go ahead and change to, we're going to drop this down. We're going to go to the tiles and mosaic. Now you got to be careful which one you pick because you want the grout lines to match the lines of this wood because you're not going to get rid of the lines of the wood. So like this brown one here, the grout lines go in with the wood lines. So you really can't see the wood anymore. Like the wood texture is almost invisible. So like if you pick this one, you see the grout lines kind of went in with it. You really can't see it. But if you were to pick, say this one, you can see the wood paneling behind. That don't look as good. So pick one of these square ones where the grout lines will go ahead. See, like those squares are too big, unfortunately. I mean, I like the big squares, so it would be nice to use them. But you're still going to see some of the wood line. So you pick ones that the grout lines go in pretty good. So like this one does, and I believe this, I think I've used that small one before. A lot of times I go to this one. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out the colors of everything else. So I'm going to go to this wood one here because I think I'm just going to go ahead and do white trim around because that'll just be easier. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to go to miscellaneous. I'm going to pick my trusty white there because I don't like off-white. If it's going to be white, it needs to be white. So now before I pick my tile color, I want to pick what am I going to do for my wall themselves. So this will give you the option or the opportunity to have something up here. Some of the color, like some of your designs you can do, or wallpapers, they have like that border. I use that quite often as well. Now I don't know what color I want to use yet. So why don't we, I don't normally do a blue kitchen very often. Why don't we go ahead and do blue? Now I like to go in this fabrics. Now I realize this is fabric. You're never going to want fabric in your actual house. But this is a Sims and we can just pretend that that's a paint texture instead. Because I really like this one. And I'm just going to go ahead and darken it up just a little bit. Just going to kind of make it a little dark. There we go. Because we have a lot of white, so it's going to be fine to use a darker color. So let's see. Let's go ahead and go to this. And since we're doing a dark color up here, we don't want to do dark down here. So we're just going to kind of make it a neutral color. We're going to bring it down ever so slightly. Let's see if I can get in position to where I can at least see that color. And then we're going to bring this down as well. But I don't want it to be too brown. Not too green. I'm pretty picky. So we'll go ahead and start matching up the colors. So that looks kind of nice. That kind of looks like an old-fashioned like wall, I guess, but it's almost too brown. I still think it's too brown. So we'll go ahead and change it ever so slightly again. Sometimes I'm sure when my speed builds, you can't exactly see it very well that I'm changing the colors, but I am. Sometimes it's just an ever so slight color. There we go. We do want a little bit darker grout line. That's fine. We just didn't want brown. Brown kind of looked a little dirty. So that looks kind of nice. We'll go with that. So now what we're going to do. Now a key to making your game run a little faster in this that I've noticed is when you're in that create a style, for example, pick a small category. You're probably thinking, well, what do you mean by picking a small category? Because this category is actually, for the most part, fairly big. And when you click to do create a style, for example, and you try to go through all this, it's going to load these stupid patterns every single time. Every single time you go to a different one of these, it's going to load these dumb patterns over and over. In the background, it's also, remember that category I told you that we were in that was kind of big, that had all the wallpapers? Do you see how my game is lagging just a little bit? My cursor's moving, but the square's not. That's because it's got that stupid category doing crappy things in the background as well. So we're going to exit out of this, and I'm going to show you the difference if I go to a smaller category before going into create a style. And my favorite small category, so if you ever wonder why do I go to this but I'm not actually doing anything, is this one right here, sinks. Sinks is small. Sinks are nice. You know, so go to sinks. Now we're going to go into create a style. You see how now that square is moving around so much faster. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go back into this. Now, of course, it's still going to load this, but it's loading it faster. And then my square is also moving faster. You see how it's moving so much faster? That's because I'm in a smaller category. Why that category makes such a difference, I really don't know. But that's just a little trick from me to you on how to make your create a style move a little bit quicker. So anyway, let's go ahead and go to another wall covering because we still need to put a wall covering in the rest of the kitchen and dining room here. So I like to go because I like to keep my crown molding to match throughout the whole house. So I only have certain ones that I use, and I use them all of the time. I really like this one, but the crown molding is different, which really sucks because I'd like to have, you know, that wallpaper at the bottom there to be able to do things with, but I can't. So I go to this one, this ugly, nasty one, and I put that in, and then we're just going to go ahead and take this, and we're going to bring it over because, again, I don't want to have to recolor everything. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. And then that. And that now makes everything the same. So then, gotta wait for this. Gotta love create a style, right? So there we go. And again, this is a fairly decent sized category. So if I want it to move a little faster, all I gotta do is hit this right here since I'm already in, and it'll automatically go to the sinks. So now I can go ahead, you know, if I were to be in, do more create a style, you know, I could do that. So we're gonna go ahead and go ahead and get this all colored up. There. So now if I hit this paint contiguous area, it'll fill the whole thing in. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and copy the one that's got the tile because I realized I did not put it behind the sink area. And of course, let's see, I think you can kind of see it just a little bit up here. I want to make sure it fills the whole thing, which I think it did. Okay. Oh my goodness. I love it. So you can just move this out of the way. Yep, as you can see, it did go in. All that. So I think I also missed this one wall over here. Yes, I did. So go ahead and put that in. Oops. I accidentally recolored the wrong thing. Alright, so go ahead and there we go. And because of this upper part, as you can see, now we have the tile here that we were able to use and have the same color all the way throughout. So that's kind of why I do that. So that's how I do that. So now what we're going to do is we need to figure out what kind of flooring we want. I think I want to go with tile. Sometimes I do wood throughout the whole house. Sometimes I do wood and tile. Sometimes I have some carpet. It just all, I don't know, every house, I guess you could say, speaks to me a little bit differently. So we're going to go ahead. I don't want super big tiles like this. I want them to be just a little bit smaller. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to pick this one and we're going to just change the color. There we go. Which I would have to say, if you're going to have create a style, you're going to be able to change colors and textures. Why do we have all of these? Have you ever wondered that? Why do you have all these in different colors? I mean, if you can go in here and change the colors, why do we have so many different ones? It really doesn't make any sense. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick this lighter one here. There we go. Because like I said, we have a dark blue wall. So we don't want a whole bunch of dark items throughout. So now the other thing I like to do is I like to put crap all over the counters. So again, as you notice that it was lagging a little bit, but when I go into the sinks, look at that. It's all about that stupid category. Whatever category down here, that's what's going to lag your game. So choose wisely what category you have here while you're moving around trying to decide what you want to do. Get yourself in position where you want to be and then go to a different category. So while you're in this category, you don't have to move around. We're going to decorate this counter here, and we don't need to move all over the place because we can just grab stuff and place it where we want them. So let's see, what else do we want? Sometimes I put the knives out, but not always. One thing I like to do, see if I can find it. So I like to use this thing, but this looks more like the sink stuff, so I'll show you how I use that when we get over there. So now that this category is fully loaded, I can go and move around much easier. Getting that category to be fully loaded will help with the lag while you're moving around. So now that that's fully loaded, I can now move around freely and there's not much lag. So we're going to go ahead and do this counter here, get some soap, and then we're going to, where is it at? There's another one in here. It has towels and everything else. You could put, you know, some towels, those towels there, some just an extra. Let's see. I thought I seen it. Now I can't find it. I like to stick candles because it uses space. So, and go ahead and clutter up this corner counter all you want. The Sims can't cook over there anyway, so they can't use the counter to prepare the food. So use it up. So this one, like I was saying, what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to put it in place, the same places where that counter is. And again, I'm going to hit Alt and my left mouse button, and I'm going to drag. I'm going to drag it all the way down until it disappears, except for the stuff on top. So there you go. So now you have a few more things you can have on your counter, and it does not use the space on the counter. So the Sims can still cook there, and it's not going to be a problem. Something else that I do every once in a while is, where is it at? Gotta find it. Here it is. This towel. Now it will glitch just a little bit, as in you don't see it all. Oh, it's not going to work on this counter. It all depends. Counters must be in slightly different spots. So we're not going to use it this time. It's not going to work. Let's see. Get some towels. Sims can dry their hands. What I'm going to do here, let's go ahead, like I said, change your category. So before I go into create a style, let's change our category to sinks, because sinks are our friend. And we're going to go ahead and drag this over. There we go. You see how it's moving so much better just because I am in the sink category. I don't understand that, but that's a big thing. And of course, depending on what category you're in here, it takes forever. So just move. This one's smaller. There we go. Loads up faster. Alright, now you see that that one is a little bit bright. So I'm going to darken it just a little bit to where it about matches the tile on the wall. That's what my goal is to have it for the most part match that. There we go. So we have that tile going over with it. So let's see. Now we need to do other decorating. So let's kind of get ourselves in position so we don't have to do a lot of moving, because I'm going to be bouncing around from category to category. So let's go to decor. Let's go to rugs. They have a mod out there now that will get rid of the glare on this rug. Isn't that awesome? But I don't have it in right now, so I'm not going to use it. So we're going to go ahead and put this rug in. I like to put my rugs in to start with right away, and then I'll recolor them in a second. Let's go ahead and put in some kind of wall decoration over here. Grilled cheese painting is like my favorite. It's free, you guys. Free on the stores. If you don't have it, go get it because it's free. Can't go wrong with free items. So let's see. Let's go ahead and do, we're in the wall lamps already. I'm going to go ahead and put, that wall, or that wall painting or whatever does not work for that. So let's get rid of this because I want a light over there and I can't do that apparently with that one. So Let's grab this one. I think it works. Yep, it works fine with this one. So we're going to go ahead and kind of raise it up and down. Now raising up and down on the wall is the same thing. It's always going to be the same thing where I use my left mouse button and the Alt button, so that's not different. So I'm not going to keep saying it every time I move something up and down the wall. Just remember it's the same thing. I keep doing the same thing. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. Make that white. This is about as much modern as I get using white items. So I don't get a whole lot more modern than that. So we're just going to kind of darken that up a little bit just to help with the glare. Then we're going to go ahead with surfaces. Where coffee table, yes. Coffee table's not it. It's end tables. End tables is where we're at. I'm going to grab this one. And what I'm going to do, I just decided after I clicked on it that I want to actually use the same thing that's on those counters right there. So we're going to go ahead and grab that and we're going to drag it over. We just have to rearrange some stuff. So bring this down so it goes on top and bring the white up there, and there you go. The table is a great place to put like a phone, clock, stuff like that. So there's that. I don't think, yeah, they do have a clock. There we go. Like I said, I'll recolor in a second. Let's go back in this category. There we go. Grab some more tissues. You can never have too many tissues. They use up space. They help clutter. Use as many as you can. Tissues are nice. So we're going to go ahead and grab this one, and I'm going to kind of pick the one that's already kind of a different color. Whoops. I'm going to use Alt to bring it forward a little bit. There we go. And why don't we kind of not make it perfect? Things are never perfect. So we're going to put it at an angle and then just kind of move it around until we get it where we want it. There we go. So there's that. So let's go ahead. We can do we have room for flowers still? Yes, we do. Clutter as much as you can. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and do just some coloring. So our clock here, I'm going to go ahead and go with this because we already have plenty of blue. Now the rugs, however, I am going to choose colors that match. Can you make more blue flowers? Yes, we can. So see, that will actually match pretty good. So we're going to go into this and we're going to go to fabrics. There we go. So that actually doesn't look too bad. So we're going to go ahead and bring this coloring over here. I like to keep it simple. What can I say? I'm not too picky, I guess, when it comes to the rugs. So I'm going to go ahead and pick another rug because I feel like I need a rug over here. I don't know why I feel like I do, but I feel like I need a rug. So we're going to go ahead and grab the coloring of this rug and we're just going to drag it over. There we go. And I think that'll be it for, oh my goodness, I almost forgot. Would not be the first time I forgot this. You want a fire alarm. So let's move this. I like to hide it. So we're going to move that out of the way and put that back and put this back. There we go. There is a fire alarm. It's hidden, but it's there. Now, do I have plans of a laundry room? I don't think I do. How many bedrooms do I got going on? 1, 2, 3. What the heck do I got planned here? This must be the master bedroom. I don't know what I plan on doing here. I can't remember what I was going to do. Well, I don't think this house has a laundry room, so I'm not going to put any baskets. So yeah, I think this will be good. We got the kitchen done. Yay! I hope I am helping you learn a few different tricks, a few different things when it comes to building. So if you have any questions, like maybe something you want me to show you or questions on what I just did in this part, go ahead and leave them below. And I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.